Facts Verse presents. She found this stranded ghost ship and went in. What she found inside is totally stunning. Most people enjoy kayaking because it gives them a chance to get out on the open water. And when most people do go kayaking, they don't really expect to find much other than, well, water. They often will run across sandbars, maybe different types of sea life, other kayakers. Most kayakers don't expect to come across a ghost ship. Well, this one did, and it was just off the coast of the Black Sea in Romania. The massive ship that the kayaker came upon had a crack on the side of the hull. The crack was large enough that the kayaker could fit right through it. Now, most people would be afraid to enter an abandoned ship, but apparently this guy wasn't. He was an adventurer, so he decided to go right in through the hole. What he did was really brave, but also really stupid. I mean, the structure of the ship was very unstable. I mean, it had a big hole in it. Could have crumbled at any time while he was in it. Even the slightest nudge could have caused the entire ship to come crashing down around him and upon him. Well, the kayaker apparently understood the dangers of going in or just didn't care, and he used caution. Rather than using his paddles that could have struck the sides of the ship, he used his hands to get through. It was very dark inside the ship, but fortunately there was light pouring through the cracks, allowing him to see where he was going. When the kayaker got into the ship, he realized that there was a really eerie vibe to it. The ship had worn down a lot over time, which makes the inside look like a villain's lair. There were girders ribbing the walls and ceilings, and enormous gears and pistons blocked certain pathways. The ship's disrepair made it look very creepy. On the main engine, there was a logo for Harland & Wolff. It was the same company responsible for building the SS Titanic, which we all know sank and killed over 1,000 people. Today, the Titanic is sitting on the ocean floor, deteriorating more and more every day. While the inside of this ship was pretty incredible, the history of it is also fascinating. The ship had spent years navigating the waters of the world before it was abandoned entirely. When it was in use, it was part of the UK's Ministry of War transport as an Empire ship. It was used during wartime and gave the country's fleet a bit extra. Before World War II and before, the United Kingdom boasted the largest fleet of merchant ships. Unfortunately, the war claimed over 4,000 of them. German U-boats often patrolled the waters to find and sink enemy vessels. This particular ship was built around 1942 in a shipyard in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The vessel weighed 7,355 tons, and based on its current state, it's surprising to hear that it actually survived World War II. The ship's purpose was not very glamorous. It was used to transport frozen meat from Argentina in 1944 and 1945. The vessel made regular stops in North Africa, Algiers, Australia, and Cuba. The ship was only 26 years old when it ran aground only 16 miles south of the largest port in the Black Sea. By this time, the ship's name had already been changed to MVE Evangelia. Since it was impossible to move the ship, the crew had to abandon it and left it to float alone on its own. When the ship was first discovered, looters went inside looking for anything of value. If there was anything there, it had already been taken by the time our kayak friend got there. Today it's reduced to nothing but a great place to take photos. People love to visit this ship just to take pictures. The ship is a common tourist attraction, but there are some people who take a risk that they shouldn't. By getting out of their boats and swimming in the ship, they could cut themselves on a sharp fragment, which could cause a very dangerous laceration. Getting on the deck, that's especially dangerous. People who've gone on deck had to move past rusty pipes while climbing a ladder to a dark, windowless shaft. The kayaker didn't find anything of worth, but they did find a fantastic piece of history that's decaying more and more every day. Going into the ship is not the safest thing in the world, but it will allow you to see some pretty amazing sights. If you're going to take a trip to this ship, make sure that you are appropriately dressed to avoid being injured. Also make sure that you have a flashlight for those dark areas, or if the sun goes down while you are still exploring. If you're the type of person who loves adventure, this ship might be a great place to visit. And subscribe for more.